Hello learners, welcome back to my channel Shraddha's Physics. In this lecture we will see the Langevinian's theory of dimagnetism. So let us start with our topic Langevinian's theory of dimagnetism. Let us consider an electron having mass m and charge equal to minus e, and it is rotating about the nucleus because suppose this is a nucleus, surrounding this nucleus electrons are revolving and the electron revolve in a circular orbit of radius suppose r. Since a moving electron is equivalent to a current, some magnetic flux is linked with this current loop, and when an external magnetic field is applied, the magnetic flux linked with that current loop, it tends to change which alters the current in the loop in such a way that it will opposes the change in flux. Suppose if I will consider, suppose this is my circular orbit where the electron is suppose revolving. So because of this rotation of this electron or because of this revolution of the electron around this nucleus, so there will be some current will flow in this circular loop. So that here will be, because of the change in the current or because of this current, so there will be a magnetic field or there will be a magnetic flux linked with this coil. If we apply some external magnetic field to it, if we apply some external magnetic field suppose B to this circular loop, then what will happen? It will tend to change this current flow, or we can say that if we will apply this magnetic field, it will try to oppose the magnetic flux that is linked with this loop. So the change in the current is manifested by the change in the frequency of the revolution of the electron. Now, if omega naught is the angular velocity of the electron in the absence of an applied field, then we can write the force will be equal to, that is for your centripetal force, we can write the force will be equal to m omega naught square r, or also this is equal to the electrostatic Coulomb force, that is Z e square divided by 4 pi epsilon naught r square. Or from this relation we can calculate, from this relation omega naught will be equal to, this will be your, if I will solve this equation, then this will be omega naught square will be equal to Z e square divided by 4 pi epsilon naught r square into, this will be m r will be multiplied here. Okay, so now you can see that this will be Z square divided by 4 pi epsilon naught, this r square into r, this will be r cube, this will be r cube into m. So if I take the square root of both sides, then this will be simply this much. So this will be Z square divided by 4 pi epsilon naught mr cube root over. Okay. Now the current will be equal to, the current can be written as current equal to the charge flow for the unit time. So this is equal to charge divided by the time taken to complete the orbit, that is the circular orbit. Now here the charge equal to the minus e, that is the electron charge is minus e, and this time will be equal to 2 pi by omega. Time equal to, the time period will be equal to 2 pi by omega. So here omega is equal to the omega naught. So simply by putting this value, so the current value will be equal to minus e omega naught divided by 2 pi. Now if we consider the electron is moving in the clockwise direction, then the area vector of the current loop, if you will see here, this is your, suppose in this diagram you can see this is your suppose circular loop and the electron is revolving in this direction, suppose in this direction. That is here in this case, if you will use your right hand thumb rule, then the finger curl will show this direction of the electron and the thumb will represent the magnetic field direction, and simply the magnetic field direction will be the downward, or this is your, you can say this is your along the minus z cap axis. So here you can write the area vector will be equal to minus pi r square into k cap, that is the area is for the circular part, the area is pi r square, and for this magnetic field this is your minus k cap. And also let me tell you one thing, in this loop you can see here, for this loop if you see from the top view, from this top view you can see it will behave like your south pole, this will behave like a south pole, and the downward, that is the downside, it will behave like a north pole. Just opposite to that, just try to imagine if it is in this direction, then this will be, that is the clockwise direction. So this will form your south pole, and on the other side you can see that will becomes your north pole. Similarly, if you can see, if the electron is revolving in the anti-clockwise direction, just like this, then it will behaves like your north pole. So it will behaves like your north pole. Now you can see here, this is your n side, and similarly the other side will be your south pole. And in this case you can see, if this is the motion of the electron in this direction, again if you apply the right hand thumb rule, then the finger curl, it will show the direction of the rotation of the electron, and the thumb will represent, this is your, suppose, let me draw it clearly. So your thumb, it will show the magnetic field direction. Okay, so this is your basically the right hand thumb rule. So here it is in the case of the anti-clockwise direction of the electron or anti-clockwise motion of the electron, and this is the case for the clockwise motion of the electron. Now the magnetic moment of the electron can be calculated as equal to the current into the area, and here we have calculated the value of the current equal to minus e omega naught divided by 2 pi. So you can see here, this is your total current value equal to minus e omega naught divided by 2 pi, and our area will be equal to pi r square into minus k cap because of the minus z axis direction. Now if I multiply this minus sign with this minus sign, this will get cancelled. So now this will be e by 2 into omega naught r square, this pi get cancelled. This will be e by 2 omega naught r square into k cap. Okay, so this is your magnetic moment of the electron. Now let us consider a magnetic field of induction B. It is applied normal to the paper or the orbit. Okay, suppose the magnetic field induction, it is applied normal to the orbit. So the Lorentz force act on the electron, that is along the minus z axis, can be written as FL will be equal to minus E V cross B. That is, you know, the Lorentz force equal to Q into V cross B. So here the charge is equal to minus E, and this will be here minus E into V cross B. Okay, so this will be equal to V cross B will be equal to VB. So in place of V cross B, if I will put V equal to R omega, then this will be minus E. In place of V, that will be R omega, and this is your B. Since V cross B is your VB sin theta, and the velocity of the electron and the magnetic field, they are in the perpendicular direction. So VB sin theta, that will be VB sin 90. So sin 90 goes to 1, and simply by substituting the value V equal to R omega, we will get the Lorentz force will be equal to minus EB into R omega, where omega is the angular velocity of the electron in the presence of the field. Now for the condition of the stable motion, when the stable motion case we consider, so here you can see that if we consider for the stable equilibrium condition, then when any particle is revolving in a circular orbit, then there will be a centripetal force will act on that particle. So that centripetal force, it will always act towards the center. So this for this electron, this is suppose the centripetal force, and because of this centripetal force, or we can say that this centripetal force will get balanced with the Coulomb force, that is FO, as well as the Lorentz force due to the magnetic field, as well as the velocity of the electron. So this will be Fn, and they will all act on the towards the center. They all will act towards the center. Or simply we can say that for the stable motion case, here you can see the centripetal force, that is mr omega square, that is equal to your Coulomb force plus, let me write here the centripetal force, suppose let me write Fc, that is equal to the Coulomb force, that is let me write Coulomb force plus the Lorentz force. Okay, now if I will put the value, so the centripetal force F centripetal, that is mr omega square, that is equal to Z square divided by 4 pi epsilon naught r square, that is Coulomb force, and the Lorentz force, this is the charge minus E, so this will be minus EB r omega. Now here if I will solve this equation, this will be, let me divide this mr term, so this will be Z square divided by 4 pi epsilon naught mr cube, and this will be EB r omega divided by mr. So r get cancelled. So this will be EB omega by m. Now if I will take this total expression to the left hand side, now this will be the negative sign will becomes positive sign, and this positive sign becomes the negative sign, and that is equal to 0. Okay, simply here we have divided this mr term and taken the right hand side term to the left hand side. Now we can see here, this is your quadratic equation. This is your quadratic equation that is in the form of ax square plus bx plus c equal to 0. This is in this form. Now to solve this equation, you can write x will be equal to minus b plus or minus root over of b square minus 4ac divided by 2a. Okay. Now if I will substitute this value, you can see here, this is in this form. Now after substituting the value, you will get this much. Here the omega square, omega is equal to your, here the x will be treated as your omega. So the omega square coefficient is your 1. So here a will be equal to 1, and the omega coefficient is EB by m. So EB by m is your b, and your minus z square divided by 4 pi epsilon naught mr cube, that is your c. So by simply substituting the value, you will get this much. Okay. Now in this expression, initially we have calculated in this equation 1, since omega square r will be equal to z square divided by 4 pi epsilon naught r square, so omega naught value equal to this much. Now simply substituting that value, that is z square divided by 4 pi epsilon naught mr cube, this value, the root over of this much, is equal to, this is your omega naught. So simply for that we have substituted omega naught square. So to take common 4, so here if I will take common 4, so in this expression, so simply just divided 4 in the first term, and here I have just removed this 4 term and this whole, and again the root over of this much. Are you getting my point? If I will take common 4, this will be simply e square b square divided by 4m square minus z square divided by 4 pi epsilon naught mr cube. Now the square root of 4 will be 2. So this 2 get cancelled. So in that expression we will write first, this will be omega naught square, and in this part we will write, this will be EB by 2m whole square. This is minus 4ac, you know the formula, minus b. So this is minus b plus or minus, this is your b square minus 4ac. So this sign becomes plus. Okay, here is a minus sign, so this will becomes plus sign. So there will be omega naught square, this value is your omega naught square, plus this will be EB by 2m whole square. Now this is your root over of this much, and again this term is your minus EB by 2m, since we have divided this 2 term here. Now from this expression, if I will consider EB by 2m is very less than omega naught, then this omega will becomes plus or minus omega naught minus EB by 2m. That is, the frequency of revolution of an electron changes by a factor of EB by 2m. Okay, so that is, you can see that the frequency, it will change by the factor of EB by 2m in the presence of the magnetic field, that is B. So the plus or minus sign in this equation, it signifies that the electrons with the orbital moment parallel to the field, they are slowed down, whereas those moment anti-parallel to the field, they are speeded up. So because of the parallel field, this frequency, or you can say that the velocity of the electron, it will slow down, and if the field is in the anti-parallel direction, then it will speed it up. That is, this is called the Larmos theorem. The change in frequency produces an additional current. Now if we will calculate that current, then this current will be equal to charge into the revolutions per unit time. So this will be, the charge value is minus e into the revolution per unit time will be equal to 1 by 2 pi into EB by 2m. Because of this additional EB by 2m, simply I have to write 1 by 2 pi into EB by 2m. That is, this total orientation is our 2 pi. So revolution per unit time, in a single unit time, I will write, this will be EB by 2m into 1 by 2 pi. So finally after calculation you will get minus E into E, this will be E square B divided by 2 into 2, that will be 4 pi m. Now, the magnetic moment of the current loop containing a single electron, for the single electron this will be mu E will be equal to current into area. So, from the previous relation we have calculated current will be equal to minus E square B divided by 4 pi and area is our pi r square. So, simply calculating this pi get cancelled, this will be minus E square B r square divided by 4m. This is the magnetic moment of the current loop containing a single electron. And here this negative sign, it signifies that the induced magnetic moment, it points in a direction opposite to that of the field. That is, if the field is originally in this direction, then now this will becomes just opposite to that. Now the total induced magnetic moment per atom, if we will consider for total atom, then this will be equal to minus Z square B divided by 4m sum of r square. Okay, this is for, here we have calculated for the single electron. Now we will calculate per atom. Okay, so here the total induced magnetic moment per atom will be mu equal to minus Z E square B divided by 4m into sum over r square. Now all the electron it orbits are not oriented normal to the magnetic field. So the r square in the equation 6, it should be replaced by the average of the square of the projection of the orbit radii for the various electrons in a perpendicular plane to B. Now in this equation 6 you can see, for this r square value, that is sum over your r square, I will replace this by the 2 by 3 r square. Because you know, if you will calculate the distance of the electron from the nucleus, then this will be, suppose here it is suppose r square, that is equal to a square plus y square plus z square average. So the spherical symmetry charge contribution, you know, along the x-axis, that is equal to y and that is also equal to z. So average x square will be equal to average of y square and that is equal to average of z square. Or if you will add all these three, then this will be simply, this r square will average will be equal to 3 average x square. So the field points along the z axis, if I like the field points along the z axis, then this will be simply average of r square will be average of x square plus average of y square. Since x square equal to y square, then simply you have to write 2 average of x square. Now if you will substitute this value, let me write it, suppose capital R square, this is suppose capital R square, then this will be equal to, this r square will be equal to 2 into average of this x square. So in this place, if you will write this value, this average of x square will be equal to r square divided by 3. So this will be average of r square divided by 3. So this will be 2 by 3 average of r square. So simply this is the value that is here. That's why we are simply substituting the value r square, instead of r square we are substituting the value that is 2 by 3 r square. So here you can see this is minus z e square b sum over your r square into 2 by 3. So this 2 will get cancelled with this 4, that will be 2 into 3, that will be 6. Okay. And hence we can calculate the susceptibility of the material, that is n atoms per unit volume. Chi will be equal to, this chi equal to m divided by h. So the value of m equal to, or this is, let me write it, this is just simply mu by h. If I write this as mu divided by h, then this will be minus z square b sum over r square into n divided by 6m into, for this h, this will be h, the n atoms per unit volume. So now this will be equal to minus mu naught z square into sum over your r square into n divided by 6m, where b will be equal to, here you can see, just a minute, here in this place of b, here we have substituted mu naught h. Okay, so this h will get cancelled with this h. So simply this will be minus mu naught z square sum over r square into n. This will be simply divided by 6m, because this h will get cancelled with this. If I will write in place of b, this is mu naught h, so 1 h will get cancelled with this h. Now the susceptibility chi will be equal to minus mu naught z square n divided by 6m into the average of r square. So it is a classical Langevin result which shows that this chi, that is the susceptibility, it is independent of the field strength. So you can see that in this expression there will be the the absent of the magnetic field term, that is the B term is absent. So it is independent of the field strength and the temperature term is also absent. So this is in accordance with the Curie's experimental result. So this is known as the classical Langevin theory, where the susceptibility is independent of the field strength and the temperature. So this is all about your Langevin's theory of dimagnetism, or you may say that this is your classical concept. This is all for today. Thank you.